right, folks. Up next is Sportsman for 2026. And I have to admit, this one is quite challenging for Sportsman. So I'm excited to see how everybody does with it. So let's just run through it. I'm going to start about middle box here as far as altitude goes for this first maneuver. So we have room for the 45. And we could call this a Q loop. We're going to do one full roll across the top. And then we're going to establish a 45. Fly that 45. And then exit at the bottom of the box. Next up is the bow tie. Pull to a 45. 1, 2, 3. Half roll. 1, 2, 3. Pull to the vertical. Establish that vertical. Then we're going to pull to the second 45. 1, 2, 3. Half roll. 1, 2, 3. And pull to an inverted exit. Then we got a down Humpty bump. Pull to the vertical. 2 of 4. We're going to pull half inside loop to vertical upline, 1 full roll, and push to an upright exit. Then we got the split S, half roll and entry, pull half inside loop with 1 positive snap on the exit. And then we're going to fly to the other side of the box for the hammerhead. I'll pull to a 45, pull to the vertical, 1, 2, half roll, 1, 2, and hammer. So 2, 3, and pull. I'm going to fly across the box again for the goldfish. I'm going to pull to a 45. 1, 2, 3. 2 of 4. 1, 2, 3. Pull 3/4 inside loop all the way back around to a 45-degree upline. Nothing on this upline. We want some room for this spin. So we'll push to an upright exit and get ready for the 1 3/4. I'm going to go left. So we're going to see the canopy. Reestablish that down line. We're going to pull half inside loop to a vertical upline with nothing on the upline. I'm going to make this nice and tall so we have plenty of room here. I'm going to pull to an inverted exit and then the down sharp. Pull to the vertical, 3/4 roll left, and then we're going to pull to a 45, 2, 3, 2 of 4. We're going to pull to an inverted exit. Then we got a high box inverted aerobatic turn. We're going to bank 60 to 90 degrees here. Push all the way around to an inverted exit. The down figure in, we're going to pull to the vertical. And we're going to pull to a 45. 1, 2, 3. 2-point roll. Or 2 half rolls. And we're going to push to the vertical. And pull to an upright exit. And out of the box. So let's start with the Q loop. I started this about mid box as far as it comes to altitude. That way I had plenty of room to draw a nice 45 at the end there. So one of the things to work on here is continuing the arc as we roll. So there's some left rudder, there's some down elevator, there's some right rudder, and we're coming off the throttle to keep that arc. Pull to the 45, establish that 45, and then pull to an upright exit. What we see a lot of times with roll elements on loops or arcs is everybody gets to the top here, They flatten out, they do their roll, and then they pull. And that's a downgrade. So what we want to work on is pulling that arc and continuing the arc with rudder, elevator, and throttle. Now you don't have to do it, um, you don't have to drag it out so long there. What we could do is wait a little bit longer. It just has to be centered at the top there. So wherever you start is where it needs to finish. Just like that. Establish that 45 and then fly it out. And then that gives you room for the bow tie here, just to be on the lookout for things like a long short, where you draw a real long line, half roll, and then pull. That's what you want to avoid. And then on the same for this 45-degree upline, see a lot of short, half roll, then fly a really long line. Those are all downgrades. What you want to do is count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, whatever it is you want to count so that your half roll is centered on that upline. So we'll do it correctly here. We're going to pull to the 45. 1, 2, 3, half roll. 1, 2, 3, and then pull. Fly the vertical down line. Pull to the second 45-degree up. 1, 2, 3. Half roll. 1, 2, 3, and then pull to an inverted exit. And then the down Humpty, same here. Line lengths 1, 2, 1, 2, and pull. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I added an extra count there for the upline versus the downline. There's a lot of difference in airspeed there. So what you want to make sure of, we'll do it backwards here, is you don't run out of room here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and push to an upright exit. And then the split S, we just went over this in basic. I see a lot of people don't carry power through this half roll. They'll chop the power in half roll. What that does is causes a loss in altitude, and it causes you to pinch the top of that radius. So what you want to do is, just like the basic video, we want to carry power through this half roll. See, that establishes, that keeps that altitude and allows you to not pinch that radius as you come out of that half roll. And then on the bottom is the positive snap. I teach a check mark method like that right there, where you pop the elevator, come completely out of it, and then rudder and aileron to get the auto rotation. So we get the pitch departure, and then we get the auto rotation to complete the snap. It looks like this. And what I see a lot of people in Sportsman doing is burying the sticks like this. You can see even on this simulator here, if I bury the sticks, how deep that snap gets. We'll show it again. And that gets kind of hard to control. It's a lot easier to control when you don't let the plane get so deep in that snap. You give a pitch departure and then the auto rotation with the aileron and rudder, just like that. You can see that's a much cleaner snap versus that. It's tight and it's quick versus burying the sticks and getting real deep. And you can tell the plane doesn't want to stop. It wants to rotate another like 15 degrees. Whereas if you do it like that, it's a lot easier to stop it when you want to, like that. And it's hard for me on this simulator because whenever I record the screen, it causes it to be a little bit jittery, but you get the point. That was a lot cleaner snap, and it looks a lot more like the full scale counterpart. You get the pitch departure, you get the auto rotation, and you get a clean snap versus burying the sticks and getting a deep wallowing snap. Um, yeah, I'll quit rambling on that. I might do a completely separate video for snap rolls because I see that it's just a real big pain point for a lot of people in Sportsman. Um, Learning how to hit that one positive snap. And a lot of that setup as well, which will be in the setup video that I do. So that's the split S onto figure 5. I have to fly all the way across the box here. Do your best to keep this nice and level as you fly all the way across. Then we're going to pitch up. I got jittery on me. That's the 45. Into the vertical. Half roll. Flip over. Establish the down line. Half roll. And pull. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I guess the one thing I would put as an emphasis is when you have the belly towards you, we went over this in the basic one. When you have the belly towards you, a lot of people get backwards on their rudder. The trick is to look at the tail and see which way you need it to go based off of your perspective. I needed that tail to go right, so I gave it right rudder. I'll come back and redo that again. Just try to speed up this down line here because I went pretty high there. Get turned around here. All right, so we hit that 45. Let's say we got wings on level and we pull over here and we're off. I need that tail to go to my left. So I'm gonna give left rudder to correct that. That's the cheat code for when the belly is towards you on a vertical upline. All right, that's the hammerhead. Also, one other thing on the hammerhead. I like to flip a switch for my hammerhead. So my low rate rudder is not enough. So I like it to throttle back, flip a switch, throttle back to low rate to lock the tail in and just try to stop the tail wag and come out of it. That's personal preference, but it helps me be more precise on my low rate without having all that rudder. All right, goldfish, same thing here. You want to make sure this is centered. We see a lot of short, long. Make your count. Says you once you establish that 45, count 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. Then do your roll element. Then count 1, 1, 2, 3 again, so that you can ensure that that goldfish or the roll element is centered on whatever line you're flying. And then a 1 3/4 spin in Sportsman is pretty cool. So you can see on the on my sequence sheet there, I've written left C canopy. Um, that's annotation that I like to make for my knowns when I'm first learning them, and also especially for unknowns. It just helps you so you don't have to worry about trying to count this. I just know that I need to go left and I need to go until I see the canopy. There's 1 3/4. I reestablish that down line, and I'm gonna pull a tight loop here at the bottom, fly this vertical up line, and then fly out inverted. That's the spin there. I won't go over it too exhaustively because we went over it in basic, but you want to focus on holding altitude, increasing angle of attack as that airspeed bleeds off, and then putting your spin inputs in to fly the spin. Um, See a lot of struggle with that. Just maintaining that altitude, increase that angle of attack. There's the spin. Throw the controls in. Do your number of rotations. Reestablish that down line, and then complete the rest of the maneuver. All right, so we're coming out of this inverted cross box, and we're going to fly this down sharp. This 3/4 roll has to go to the left so that you can exit correctly here into the 45. 1, 2, 1, 2, and pull. And that's that figure 8 there, or the maneuver 8. You want to make sure that when you come out of the spin, let me just redo the spin here. When you come out of this spin, you want to make sure that this down Humpty out of the spin here, you want to make sure that this upline right here is nice and tall so that you have plenty of time to execute this 3/4 roll cross box. So we're from inverted. I like to pull throttle a little bit just to decrease airspeed so that it's not, going Mach 12 when it comes out of that, comes into that vertical down line. Then make sure you're counting here to center your 204, and then you pull to an inverted exit. The only other thing I will add to that is I'm just gonna simulate coming out of that 3/4 roll. See a lot of people, they fly these point rolls on these 45s without any corrections. See how I did that with no correction, and now I lost 20 degrees on my 45. So there's my 45. There should be a little rudder here as you go through that point to hold that 45. Just to make sure you're not losing, because as you do the 2-point or the 2 of 4 there, the ailerons are causing drag, and when you induce that drag from the ailerons on the 45 there, the plane's going to want to lose altitude or lose its lines. There's my 45. There's a little bit of rudder to hold that 45 and not lose that altitude. And then the aerobatic turn is pretty basic. I just ran out of gas. So let's start over here. The aerobatic turn is pretty basic. Everybody in Sportsman should be familiar with the aerobatic turn from basic. Let me get some altitude here because this is going to be a high box aerobatic turn, which could cause some perception issues there, but it has to be 60 to 90 degrees. You establish the bank, then turn. Establish the bank, then turn. When you're on heading, then you roll out. It's not like a rolling turn in the upper classes. This is a bank, then turn on heading. Once you get on heading, then it's a bank to exit. All right, and then the final figure is the figure 10, the down figure in. We're just going to pull to the vertical. Same thing here. We're going to pull to that 45. We're going to count 1, 2. We're going to do a 2-point roll or 2 half rolls. Fly the rest of that 45. Push to the vertical. Fly that vertical, and then pull to an upright exit. And it's same thing as the 2 of 4 that we just went over on the other 45. When you're doing this 2-point on this 45, there should be some rudder and some rudder as you come through that those 2 half rolls so that you can maintain that 45. Here, I'll put smoke on here and we'll watch. I'll do it with no correction. So I'm gonna pull to the 45. There's a half roll. There's a half roll. I lost, what, 20 degrees maybe? And that's 2 points you're just giving away there. Instead, I'll just do it from the reverse here. Instead, we want to pull to that 45, count 1, 2, and then some rudder. Some rudder. You can see that on my sticks on the left-hand screen there. Do it one more time from the right. I'm going to pull to the vertical, and I'm going to pull to a 45. And there'll be a little bit of elevator too once you get to this inverted position. And you can see how the corrections are made are very minor, but they hold that 45. all the way throughout and don't cause you to lose that 45-degree line and get yourself some deductions. Um, and that's it for the Sportsman 2026 known. Thanks for watching. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. And I'll see you on the next one for intermediate. Have a good one.